Another day in Los Angeles. I have to take a moment. It's a lot today. It's a lot. I had to go into, I guess, the downtown of wherever the fuck this is. And it was already stressful. I was just distraught and heartbroken and everything. And it's not the worst day of my life. The worst day of my life is yet to come. But it's just it's just a lot today. It really is. So I get to the main station of this town. As usual, these are simple folk. They want to say hello. They want to say good morning. They want to talk to you. They want to start a conversation, especially elderly people, because they're just ignored. Now, I don't know for sure if this woman was displaced, homeless. But either way, I didn't know her. She was a complete stranger. Some guy before her comes up and, I get the usual beautiful dogs. How am I supposed to respond to that? Because if I respond to it my way, I will curse you out because you'll think you're giving a compliment. My thing is, they're working dogs, always, always working. You can't ooh, you can't ah at them. They have to maintain their job. But I don't respond. He harumphs off to the side. He doesn't say anything to me. And I was just like, oh, fine, I guess I nipped that one in the bud. I was going to have a fucking conversation with you about how beautiful my dogs are. Yeah, they are beautiful, but they're working right now. And if they were your dogs, you could talk to them or talk about them. But I'm a complete stranger. I just don't want to talk to people. Now, understandably, if I was a breeder of dogs and I was speaking to another breeder of dogs, then that would be a conversation to have. But as it stands, I'm just a disabled veteran trying to get from point A to point B without having a fucking meltdown in public. Because it's bad enough that I'm a veteran with PTSD from military sexual trauma. But I'm the veteran with PTSD with military sexual trauma that still goes outside, still does things. The whole point of, do you know that you're 100% disabled means that you can't function in public. I can't function in public. It's too stressful for you. You know that there are several avenues that you could take if you just decided to be a homebody. You would actually see all the stress go away and everything. My problem is I just don't like homes, houses, any of it. The older I became, the more I realized the thing that's missing out of my life is the absence of permanence, true transience. I'm not just an American, I'm a Native American, I'm an indigenous person, I'm a First Nation. The idea of moving from place to place is who I am. It's what makes me happy. Yeah, it means that I have to put up with terrible people who will not take no for an answer. Maybe when I leave this place, I'll release the video, but I had to videotape this woman because she tried to have a conversation with me, but she couldn't have the conversation where she was. So she decided that she was going to come closer to me to have a conversation. So, me with my PTSD from military sexual trauma, I completely freak out. I completely freak out. I say, no, thank you. Have a nice day. I try to be courteous about it instead of get the fuck away from me because not everybody deserves that. In this woman's head, she's tried, can I give you a compliment and then talk to you on other people? And it's been successful for her, very successful. Now, there are whole books of how to influence, how to make friends and influence people. And they always say kindness, kindness. It's, I enjoy kindness. I enjoy charity. I enjoy helping out in the community, or at least I did. But then the woman that ran it, and now I have my military sexual trauma, so, whatever. It's usually the idea that I have of it's all me, it's all me. But I saw her after the shift and she said to me, you have beautiful eyes. And I just said, nope, done, done, done. What the fuck does that have to do with giving food to needy families? It's like, that's not appropriate for you to compliment me. So I left that and I feel bad because I tried to do a food bank and make some boxes for people for them to enjoy. It was just too uncomfortable. They tried to make an accommodation for me and say, dude, just be in the corner, just do that. But then people started bothering me there too. So, but either way, I say no thank you. I say no thank you and have a nice day to this woman. Her response was, no, I don't want anything from you. It's like, no, you do. And I should have stood up for myself just a little bit more and confront these people because it's bullshit. It's you do want something, you want a conversation, you want someone to acknowledge your presence on this earth. Me personally, I'm having a fucking shitty day and I just want to have my fucking shitty day and enjoy it privately. It's like my day is terrible. Let me just enjoy my terrible day by myself. I don't need you. But her response was, I don't want anything from you. It's like, no, you do. Okay. I'm not a child. You're not a child. You're definitely not a child. So can we be adults here? Can we be adults for 2 seconds and you admit that you saw me with my two service animals and you said, I want to know this person or I want this person to talk to me. Admit it. Okay? And I can admit that I just don't want to talk to you. So she says that. My response is no, thank you. And I say it a little bit more forcefully. And then she, in her sage moment of clarity, oh, sorry, sagacious moment of clarity. I can never fucking get an adjective correctly. But either way, her response, oh, you just don't want conversation. No shit, bitch. No shit. And I try not to be that angry, upset incel person that being sexually abused and assaulted by women has turned me toward. But this is kind of the reason why. We talk about how if a woman is assaulted, he has to go through the rest of her life looking at every man and say, I see you. I see you for who you are and what you can do. Other people, they don't know, but I know. But in that kind of scenario, it's, well, of course, men are inherently evil. Well, you're completely justified. But aren't I justified too? If I've been sexually abused and sexually assaulted by women to say, no, you people are fucking criminals, you're rapists, and I don't want anything to do with you. If I don't have to. If we have business together, and I always maintain this, if we have business together, I will fucking hold my nose. You're not going to get a smile out of me, but we will conduct the business and go our separate ways. But if you think that I'm going to have conversation with some random woman who doesn't understand, hey, does that person look like they want to talk to you? They have sunglasses on. They have two service animals. Okay, if you have one service animal, you're really bad off. And the polite thing to do is put your fucking head down and let that person do what they have to do. Don't even offer to help because they want to do things on their own. If they wanted help, they'd get a health aid. It's to the point that, that might be something I have to look into because the idea of dealing with people is just too much. It's too much. After she says that, she turns around, she gives her fucking A, and then turns to the guy that was before her who said, oh, you have beautiful dogs. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with that kind of thing? You just say words out loud. You don't have a brain filter. And I'm supposed to react to it like, okay, I'll have a conversation with you. It's like I don't want to. You can tell I don't want to because I have fucking dark sunglasses on in an already cloudy day. I've got two service animals, clearly fucking handicapped. But you think that I want to have a conversation? What is this? Are we that devoid of situational awareness that you would see a person and no, I'm not in a wheelchair, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness for that. But I am handicapped. But would you walk up to a handicapped person and just start gabbing at them? It's like they've got shit in their life. Maybe they want to talk, but you will know when a handicapped person wants to talk to you. But when you're handicapped, I'm sorry, not everything is just going to flow as naturally. If you wanted to have that kind of conversation, you could have picked anyone else on the fucking platform, but you chose the hardest person. You want the highest difficulty. And I understand this very well because I only want to talk to celebrities and I'm not a celebrity at all. I talk to celebrities like, hey, how are you? I love your album. And it was met with nothing. It was nothing. And I don't blame her. I don't. Because I'm not here. She was probably saying, I'm not here for that. Um, I wish I was here for that, but I'm not here for that. It upsets me that you would bring that up. And I get that. I get that. But I mean, look, I'm not exactly saying I'm perfect. I'm certainly not. I make my mistakes. I make my mistakes. I understand that. I mean, look, I know for a fact I shouldn't talk to strangers, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I do because you just pick up the right kind of vibe. Sometimes you just have to feel the vibe correctly. And yes, because nothing is ever random on the West Coast, I did pick up you don't have to, come, back to downtown. In fact, you might want to avoid it. I mean, one of the first times that I went downtown, immediately, I'm walking down the street and I walk past a homeless person with a knife on them. Just on them, on their person, not concealed, just out in the open. Big one, too. Sometimes you just have to have a policy of, I just don't want to talk to people. I just don't want to talk to people. Celebrities have to talk to people. They do. It's part of their thing. It's like you can't be a celebrity in view, but I don't know. But they go on, jabbering on with I can't believe he wouldn't talk to me. Just the attitude, blah blah blah. And of course, the guy says, and I complimented him. It's like, do you want a prize? Do you want a prize? Okay, okay. Pat yourself on your own back. You said nice things out loud. Do you want a prize? Pat yourself on the back. I don't have to pat you on the back for giving a compliment. You want to give a compliment? Sometimes you get a thank you, and sometimes you get stony silence. That is the risk when you give a compliment. When you go out to a bar and you say, "May I buy you a drink, beautiful?" Some people will say, "I'll take the free drink. So thank you." Some people say, "No." And some people just don't even respond. Now you can't turn around and say, "You fucking bitch, you take this drink and you let me compliment you," because that would make you an asshole. You could grumble about it to yourself on the way out, by yourself, in your own place, by yourself. You could do that. But you show some people some respect by saying to yourself, "You know what? Maybe I wasn't the right person for that. Maybe I saved myself a whole lot of drama by saying, you know what, if you have the attitude of I can't even respond to that, then maybe you're not the right person for me to talk to. I don't really see a future with that." That that I can respect. I can respect that because I understand that. I understand that. Why is it that these people just can't do that? And I understand if you wanted to be ignored, you go to a city. If you want to talk to people, you go to a town. But they're not my people. They're just not my people. How am I supposed to, have a conversation with them when I pretty much go to the forest, werewolf out, and that's my life, and I move around because I'm still in an indigenous mode of, do you know, not only the buffalo, but the clouds and everything that kind of push you in a direction. You see, this is what happens when you're indigenous and you're surrounded by white people who think they know you. That as an indigenous person, you're feeling the spirits, you're feeling the ancestors, you're feeling the river and the earth, and it's all telling you, they poison the ground here. They poison the air here. You don't want to live here. Move in this direction. There's poison cloud right there. And that poison cloud was LA. Yeah. So move away from that. Move in this direction. Okay. Move in that direction. And I just follow my ancestors because, like I said, I'm indigenous. So I'm just going to be myself. But these people, they live here and they defend it. They love it here. But they don't understand their way of life poisons the land, poisons the air, poisons each other. And I look at them and I just say, you people sicken the earth. I don't have commonality with you. I'm a person who would heal the earth. I'm a person who would care about public health in a way that says, I can't be your friend if the way you go about your life is an impasse to what I want to achieve. You can have a nice day. I tried to be politic about it, but you know what? I have to stop. It's been nice for what? Take the hate. That's the harder part of being an American, especially an American in social world. Everyone wants the fame, everyone wants the adoration. They don't want the hate. They don't want the derision. They don't want to be talked about. It's take the hate. Celebrities, oh, they hate to hear, oh, did you hear about so and so? I'm such a bitch. But guess what? Take that as the best compliment ever because you know what? That was the bitch that said, back the fuck up. That was the bitch that said, no, you don't come close to me. Take that as a compliment. Take the hate. And I think that is what I wanted to talk about today because I've been thinking a lot about Tyra Banks and her show, America's Next Top Model, which was forward thinking, so forward thinking because everything she did, no matter how outlandish, was a teaching moment for vulnerable. I cannot say that word. Oh my God. I'm so distraught at my English skills and I'm half English and I can't speak the fucking language. It's a teaching moment for vulnerable people. Nailed it. Business choice. You're gonna have people who you're gonna work with, people who are in the industry, and they're gonna be all over you, all over you, hands on you, everything. You have to be professional, you have to be direct, but you have to respect yourself sometimes to say, this is what I allow and this is what I do not allow. When you have PTSD, when you have military sexual trauma, it's so easy to just shrink into yourself because the consequences of speaking up against someone who oversteps your boundaries in America sometimes means you can be excluded from some things. Like in the case of Amtrak, where a white woman just decided to go to the back of the fucking train car to put her arm around me. And I videotaped this woman, no response to why she did that. And then she tried to talk to my service animals. And at that point, she fucking, took the message and fucking fucked off. But I didn't have to be polite about it. That was the time to fucking scream. That's the time to fucking scream because if someone decides to grab you, if someone this is why I hate my PTSD, but I try and talk about it as much as possible because there are so many veterans out there, so many veterans and people who have suffered through rape and sexual abuse and sexual assault. And we are constantly told that it's all in our heads and it's your problem and you have to make it so that other people are comfortable. Fuck that noise. Fuck that noise. I serve this country. I still continue to serve this country as many times as I can say fuck America. I say fuck America. But I say fuck America because there needs to be a hero that says, this is wrong. This is wrong. It is killing us. It is ruining our lives. And that's that's the most patriotic thing that you could do. Patriotism is criticizing America. Patriotism is saying, I live here, I live on this land, I will protect the land to the best of my ability by celebrating my heritage and protecting its people. I'm not going to be your friend when all you want to do is drive in cars that push exhaust directly into people's faces. It's not car exhaust, it is exhausting you. It is exhausting all of us. It is stealing our oxygen and replacing it with carbon monoxide. We are poisoning each other. You're not my fucking friend. Don't you ever fucking talk to me like you are. Every day that we go about and we say, eh, just a day, just an ordinary day. It's no, this is an opportunity every day to have a conversation about environmental rights, to have a conversation about public health. We have wonderful scientists across the fucking globe doing wonders with science. Non invasive surgery, cryotherapy for cancer. They invite you in, they go in, they freeze the cancer cells, break it up, shatter it like it's a Terminator, and because it is, and you go home the same day. Amazing science until you realize, yeah, but why did you have the cancer in the first place? And then the room goes silent because that's the part that the scientists aren't talking about. It's a breakthrough in science that you don't have to pick up a scalpel and slice through every fucking good tissue just to get to a bad cell. It's amazing science. But what would really be amazing is you didn't get the cancer to begin with. I dislike this PTSD event, but I still have to be that blues clues and sniff out the truth. And the truth is, I concluded whatever I needed to do in that downtown area. I don't have to go back there. I don't want to deal with the conversations, and I really don't want to deal with the pollution. The people there, they walk around, they go about their business, and tra la 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 la. They don't care. They don't care. They don't see what I see. They don't. They don't care because if you saw a person just falling face first on the concrete, you would say, "Oh my God, there's a fucking problem with the air in America." But that's not what happens. What happens is people keep breathing it in. They breathe it in. They get exhausted. Exhausted. They don't. They don't go for walks. They don't try. They think about the gym and then they say, "Ah, it's too much. I was going to go, but I don't know. It's like all the energy just drained out of me. But I can stay in. Telly's on. Let me get some food in me." And so they The food they eat exhausts them as well because that flavor that you eat has a thin layer of charred carbon, thin layer of smoke. It's tasty, tasty, cancer giving. But that's our main way of cooking things, and we got used to it. I love going through history on my channel because there was a time when people couldn't afford food. They couldn't afford it. They had farms and the farms weren't producing, or they had to give almost all of their food to the king or the lord. They were tithed and taxed unfairly. They were barred from going into the forest, which is probably the reason why. I guess. I guess it's the Englishman in me that all I want to do is go into the forest because my people were oppressed for so long and told you're not allowed to go into the forest. The forest belongs to the Lord. You're not allowed to hunt in the forest. The forest belongs to the Lord. You're not allowed to forage in the forest because the forest belongs to the Lord. Oh, and by the way, if you actually do grow anything, make anything, it'll be tithed and taxed, and the church will come for your money. It's everything, and you're left with nothing. But not everyone had nothing. Some people had something. They would go down to the river, take a pail of that, take it back to their cottage. They'd find mushrooms, tubers, and mustard greens, and rosemary, and basil, and oregano, and thyme, lavender, all these things, wild tomato. They'd find anything, wild cucumber. You can find that. Watercress. Watercress is actually delicious. They put it in the pot, put it at a boil, scrape the scum off the top, keep doing that over and over and over again. And eventually, somewhere in the middle, something drinkable, something edible. Food was wet. It would last, it would fill them, it would sustain them. They'd have vitamins, proper vitamins there. But we're not those people anymore. We live in our little castles and we don't want to eat wet food. Oh, it's soggy. I can't eat that. Yeah, but that sogginess gives you more nutrition. soups, stews, gumbos, all these things that we used to have in our lives, just twisted by living in America. Common sense. You know how many men are bald? We used to say, "Oh, right, male pattern baldness." Are we sure it's not just dehydration? You have a crop on your head and you don't water it. What do you think happens? Hmm? In about 2 days, I'm gonna be most likely homeless. Oh, big up to Donahue, wherever you are. Love to read that story. Not that I was planning on, going to any parks anytime soon, but it really does make you think, what the fuck is going on in America where a man can't enjoy a stroll in nature? Either way, there's a lot of pressure right now. There's a lot of pressure to batten down the hatches, build a wall, build a wall. What they're really saying is for a chunk of money, you might get a better chance of someone not bothering you. Oh, they'll always bother you, but I mean, you might have a slightly better chance. It's very seductive, this thought that I would be as domesticated as to live in a house for a year. It's only a year in my life. Imagine how good it would feel to just not have to deal with people. To say, for a month at the very least, you know what? I didn't see anyone today. I went about, did my things, did my walks, didn't have to talk to anyone, didn't have to say hello, didn't have to say good morning. I still have my PTSD to deal with, no matter what. I still have. If you're a veteran with MST like I do, you know what I mean. You can have the best day that you can conceive of, and still the intrusive thoughts of I'm just so damaged that my alone time isn't celebrated. It almost feels like a punishment sometimes because you have so much to give and to talk about, and there's this wall that comes up because you've seen the truth. You've seen what evil lurks in the shadows, what evil lurks in America when you have military sexual trauma. You can't look at the country the same exact way when someone who's supposed to be a hero of the country sexually abuses you as a fellow soldier, fellow airman, fellow marine, fellow sailor, fellow coastie. When you're abused by someone in uniform, it's psychologically damaging, but it's also soul crushing because When you join the military because you understand that there are wars going on. Some wars are just bullshit. Bullshit. Then there's a situation or two where you have to say, there are bullets coming at me from that side. And you turn to the people around you, and they're supposed to be firing at the people who are firing at us. But then you turn to them and they're firing sideways. The Department of Defense treats military sexual trauma as collateral damage. We're trying to make a G.I. Joe, and if we break some people on the way to have cold, heartless machines that do the dirty work for America, then who cares? I care. I care because the honor of my nation is supposed to mean something to me. When my nation disrespects the sanctity of human rights, that offends me. That offends my sacrifice and the sacrifice of all people who put on the uniform. Military sexual trauma is more than just something that happens to the victim, it is something that happens to all of us. My name is Ian Iliona. I'm an environmentalist. I'm a human rights activist. I'm a mutant. I'm a werewolf. Oh, I'm a homeless veteran with PTSD from military sexual trauma. I'm not the nicest person and I won't pretend to be. I'm trying to save lives, and sometimes that means that I have to be a hard person, a closed off person as I race and scramble to try and save the lives of people who I do hate, because that's just the kind of hero I am, and that's who I am. It's like, I don't want to talk to you, I just want to save your life. I hope to see you on the next podcast. Hug a tree.